Hello everyone, welcome back to Bitcoin for Humanity channel. Today we have a very special guest, Thulisa. She's a founder of Bitcoin Loxion in South Africa. And this is the Bitcoin Circular Economy project that is bringing Bitcoin and a real solution to local communities in South Africa. And we will be talking with Thulisa about her journey, about the challenges, the impact in her community, and the vision she has for the future of Bitcoin in Africa. So, Thulisa, thank you very much for sharing the space with us today. So, how are you?
Thank you very much, Ivan, for having me. I am okay, if I may say. I'm surviving.
Okay, so look, first, I would love to, before we start to talk about your community and everything, I would love to hear a little bit about your personal story. So, how did you first discover Bitcoin, and what motivates you to bring it to your community?
To be honest with you, I wanted nothing, literally nothing to do with Bitcoin. And hence, when I say that Bitcoin Loxion is trying to change the narrative and the stigma around Bitcoin, it's based on what the narrative that I had or seen and what I've heard about Bitcoin. So I was introduced to Bitcoin by a friend of mine. I think that was 2023. And he was very, very patient in terms of teaching me how to use Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin. But I was very skeptical about it and I didn't want to hear a thing. And the reasons behind that, it's because of how Bitcoin was actually introduced in Khayelitsha. I would like to assume all over the world, Bitcoin was introduced in a not in a inappropriate way, in a very inappropriate way. It's either people were told that they're gonna get rich quickly, or someone would come and take their money and vanish. And I have a personal story. One day I will share the personal story. So I was very skeptical about it until he came up with this brilliant idea. He said that I should go to a Bitcoin meetup that was happening in Stellenbosch. But the catch was, he said to me that there's going to be free food. So I was like, who doesn't want free food? I am going for food. And I didn't go to a Bitcoin meetup with an idea of learning anything or opening my eyes into a whole different world. I just went there just to eat food and move on with life. Mm-hmm. And when a very funny story, when I got there, I met few interesting people, and they actually didn't change the narrative about Bitcoin, but they actually changed the narrative that I also thought that I had about Cape Town in general, because the space was very welcoming. The space was very warm, and actually I didn't feel left out in that Bitcoin meetup. Even though people asked me, "Are you a Bitcoiner?" People kept on asking me if I'm a Bitcoiner. I kept on saying, "No, I'm not. I'm just here for fun." Little did they know that I was just there for food. Um, After that, I came back from a Bitcoin meetup, and my mind was actually blown away by how people were so welcoming, how were so warm and receiving. Until the other day, we were driving past Cape Town, and then I saw a billboard that was saying Bitcoin adopting Bitcoin in Cape Town, which that was 2024. Right. When I looked up on it in Google, I realized that they were looking for volunteers, for people to be speaker runners, manage the stage and everything like that. And I asked this person who introduced me to Bitcoin, man, what is this about? He was like, no, they need people that are going to be runners, volunteers and stuff like that. And there's going to be food. And again, this person knows me very well. There's going to be food. I am going. I went there. I was a speaker runner, busy trying to help where I can, until I actually sat down and I listened to Luthando when he was speaking of what he's doing at his community, for his community as well. And it was very interesting to see a young man doing something different in his community, not in a bad way, but in a good way, to change the community and change the narrative that the community has about Bitcoin in a very strategic way. I came back and my mind was like all over the place because I couldn't even actually get what is it that I can also do in order for me to be a Bitcoiner at that point. Then there was a road trip, and when we went to the road trip was going to Mossel Bay. When we got there, I keep on saying my mind was blown away, but because I don't know any other word to explain what I saw there. Everything just changed. Everything changed for the better. Because when I got to Mossel Bay,
You're talking about the Bitcoin Ekasi, right?
yes,
In
I'm talking
Mossel Bay.
about
Okay.
and I'm not going to lie, that community is doing the most. As Bitcoin Loxion, we look up to Bitcoin Ekasi because they're doing the most in terms of Bitcoin adoption. I got there, I was also shown how to buy using sets at your nearest merchants. We went there, we saw the community center, we saw the Safer kids, and I was quite jealous, to be honest, because I was like, oh, these people, they can do such things in their community, and I'm not doing anything in mine. Came back from that, my mind was like, what can I do? What can I do? Because I feel like looking at this narrative that they are trying to push around Bitcoin, it was actually more than anything trying to navigate the community or Mossel Bay into a path whereby they can actually fight back, but not actually burning tires or anything, but fight back against the system that has a lot of cracks around it. Came back, I was introduced to Bitcoin data. And during the conference, I met the lovely lady called Marcel. I also met Edith, very lovely woman. She introduced me to Bitcoin Data. I enrolled at Bitcoin Data. I became a student. I think I was in cohort 5, if I'm not mistaken. Right after cohort 5, I moved on to study a Bitcoin diploma with Bitcoin Ubuntu. That's where I graduated from there. Came back with a diploma, Bitcoin diploma, and I was asking myself then, what is it that I can contribute as a Bitcoiner in the space? Because how Bitcoin was introduced in my community was in a way whereby people can get rich quickly. So my question that I had at the back of my mind was like, what is it that I can do as Thulisa more than anything? We started hosting up meetups. Few people pitched up. Few people pitched up, and those few people who pitched up at the Bitcoin, I mean at the meetups, it's either they knew Bitcoin or they knew what Bitcoin stands for and how Bitcoin was also introduced in our community. People kept talking about trading, how to make money quickly, how can they get rich quickly. And we realized that actually there's a lot of education that needs to be done.
Mm.
And that's when Bitcoin Loxion came to life. It only started on free food, and now we're here talking about Bitcoin Loxion.
Okay, so that was in what year? In
I think that was 2024 because we're in 2025 now.
okay, and so what is the idea behind the Loxion project? What is the mission?
The mission behind Bitcoin Loxion is to actually change the narrative and the stigma that people have around Bitcoin. I still get these kind of questions every day. That it truly say, if I buy Bitcoin, when can I expect my returns? How much will I expect? How much should I expect in terms of the returns? If I buy for hypothetically for 1,000 rand, do I get my 2,000 rand? 2,000 rand? I'm like, that's not how it works. And we are actually trying to change the narrative and the stigma around Bitcoin with Bitcoin education, adopting merchants adopting Bitcoin, and also make it fun here and there. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you are guys doing there, because I know that you have a community garden, you have now a Bitcoin Neta, so it's like a lot of things going on. So I would love to hear you about what is going on there, what you're doing.
So we are busy right now. trying to find a shack where we can build a community shack where people can come and learn about Bitcoin. So what we do, we host classes whereby we can teach people about Bitcoin, but we make it so basic to a point whereby it's easier for people to understand it. Hence, we introduced the Treasure Academy sessions, whereby you invite everyone who's interested to come and learn Bitcoin in a very basic way. We also have a community garden that I love, whereby we are trying as much as we can to gather the community, the youth or the young people of my community, to come and assist us at the garden. But so far, to be honest with you, we are not succeeding in that one. But nothing happens overnight. I'd like to believe that there's nothing
Of
that happens.
course.
Everything takes time. It's a journey for people to actually adapt to Bitcoin. Because even if you would find someone and you tell them that you'd be able to help them where you can and using sets, they'll be like, nope, I'd rather have fiat and then I can help you. For me, that does not how it works. Because in order for people to adopt Bitcoin, they must be able to receive sets, and they must be able to also purchase or save or hold in Bitcoin, right? Or spend in Bitcoin. So far, we have 2 people that are working at the garden, making sure that the garden is well taken care of. Whenever we harvest from a garden, we chop everything up, put it in a package, in a nice, beautiful package, and then we sell it to the community. Then if we are not hosting sessions, we are busy at the garden. And if we are not busy at the garden, we are cruising with this car here, the Bitconnector car.
So this is like a kind of collaboration with the Treasure Economy, right? You told me, and you are using their educational program, or you have like a My First Bitcoin. What you are using for educating the people?
Oh, so we recently, like last week Thursday, we finished the Treasure Academy sessions, and we're using Treasure Academy tools and everything that has to do with Treasure Academy.
Okay. So yeah. So what the challenges did you face when introducing Bitcoin to the community?
Oh, yo. First of all, people thought that I was rich.
Oh yeah.
First of all, when I came into my community talking about Bitcoin, everyone thought I woke up and the next following day I was filthy rich, whereby I can do things for free. My challenges that I faced the most, let me start off with the garden. When we started the garden, we had a very open mind and very open intentions. Our intentions were very clear and pure, that we're going to get the people from the community to work at the garden, then harvest whatever that we get from the garden, and then sell it to the community. Whatever that we make from the community, we keep it so that it can generate the circular economy that we're trying to build in Khayelitsha. And I bought a lot of things, fence, tried to get water, because where our garden is at is far away from where we can access or we can get easy access to water. So I needed to make a plan so that we can get water. And for quite some time, I was walking this walk alone, and I looked like a fool. And it seemed like I was talking about something that it was just in my head. The vision was not clear to other people. We first experienced people taking things from the garden without our consent. I've experienced people, I wouldn't say stealing, but taking things that does not belong to them from the garden. And in terms
That is stealing, right?
I would say, but I was trying to look for a polite word there. And from there, I just realized that you cannot save everyone. Because if you are trying to save everyone, that's when you actually lose what you're trying to build for the community. And you cannot force everyone to study or learn about Bitcoin. I would like to believe that getting into a Bitcoin space, it has to do with your own personal journey. Everyone gets to a Bitcoin space for their own personal reasons, and I cannot take my personal reasons and force them into you. If that's the way I want to build the community, then that would never work. The other thing that I've learned is that we do not have. There's no rush. We are not rushing off to anywhere. Everything can move as slowly as it can or as it is, but at the end of the day, we will reach the goal of making the whole culture adopt Bitcoin. One last thing, I always tell this to myself that, Thulisa, I always say this to myself that, Thulisa, you can take one step at a time. You do not have to rush, because the minute you start rushing, the minute everything else falls off and doesn't come into this one beautiful orange circle.
That's nice. Okay, so would you say that the Bitcoin is changing lives in Africa, or at least in your community?
But not to look even far, for me as well, it actually changed mine. It actually changed mine. Before I got into a Bitcoin space, I didn't value, I didn't see the value of money. Whenever I had like a 50 rands, I would just go and make sure that I spend it same time, same day. And there's something that is very personal to me in terms of my Bitcoin journey. Patience. I'm one person, people who grew up with me, they know that I do not have patience for days. And I think that for me, it has changed my perspective about money. It has changed my perspective on how things are actually being done in this community or in this country as a whole. Before I was a Bitcoiner, there were certain decisions that were made by people in power, and I didn't care less about them. I was like, I am not involved. It's not my business. As long as I'm surviving, my family is okay. We move on. But now I feel like I've become one of those people. Each and every decision that people in power they make, I'm like, but what about the future? What's going to happen in the next coming to 20 to 30 years if we're making those kind of decisions today? So I think personally it has changed my life. And there's a friend of mine that I usually talk about a lot. He's a very good artist. I hope that when you come here, you would meet him. His name is Rais. He's very talented, super talented. I don't want to say that boy, but that man, in terms of art, he's I don't know how to explain it, but he's very talented. And each and every day when I meet him and I have a conversation with him, I watch how he grows, how he handles himself lately. And I cannot say more, but the only thing that I can say is that I see growth in him. And I feel like starting Bitcoin Loxion more than anything was to actually impact someone's life. And whenever I look at him, I'm like, that's what Bitcoin Loxion was meant to be. And if you would come to Kailicha and see all the paintings from the Curiosity Wall, he's the one who did all of those paintings. So whenever I look at him, I know we are doing something different. I know we're still in the end stages because we started early last year and we only have, Bitcoin Loxion has only been operating for just 1 year. And already I'm seeing that one person who's actually trying to change his life the best he can. It might not be easy, but I can actually see the baby steps that he's taking. And each and every day he's taking those steps. I'm proud of him. And I know for sure, Bana, this is why I get to do this thing every day. I hope I didn't take
Wow.
long.
Nice. That was very interesting story. So, where is the Bitcoin Loxion now, and what are the next steps?
Now we're still in a foundation phase. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to make it this big thing. We're still in the foundation phase whereby we're trying to make the merchants adopt Bitcoin. We are trying to gather as many people as we can to come and learn and study Bitcoin. Ask me, where do I see Bitcoin Loxion in the next coming 5 years? Newspapers, ENC, people talking about this place that people do not value, because a lot of people, they do not value Kailicha. When they see Kailicha, they see a jungle. And I've always said this, that Kailicha is not a jungle. It's a place where most people call it home. It's a place where people actually grew up in. It's the only place that people actually know. And when I look at Bitcoin Loxion in the next coming 5 years, Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin adoption, and actually the narrative that we're trying to change now will be actually changed in the next coming 5 years.
Wow, it's a very nice future or vision.
Yeah, I'm trying to draw a picture here.
Okay, so where can people can find you, learn about the project? Where can support the project? What is your social network?
We have a Twitter account whereby you can find us at Bitcoin Loxion, and the Loxion is Loxion Loxion, and also you can find us on we do have a website whereby you can also go www.bitcoinloxion.com. If anyone would like to support Bitcoin Loxion, everything you will find it on the Bitcoin Loxion website. I think the other thing is that if you would want to follow our journey and stuff like that, Twitter is the best place for you to find Bitcoin Loxion.
Okay, excellent. Any advices for other people that want to create circular economy in their community? What would be your advices?
Oh, yeah, good question. Someone once told me that if someone says good question, that means that question they didn't expect it. Good question. All I can say is that do not rush into anything. Take things slowly. If you've got two merchants that have accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment, that is a win. Foundation, it's what actually builds a house. You cannot have a house without a foundation. And building a firm, strong foundation would actually take you far. Having thousands of merchants being onboarded doesn't mean that people are actually adopting Bitcoin. But having people spending in Bitcoin, hodling in Bitcoin, that is the true Bitcoin adoption. So do not rush into anything. Take things slowly. We are only just started. We still have many more years for other people to come and join the circle and actually adopt Bitcoin and actually experience the love that Bitcoiners have. Because there's one thing that I've learned about Bitcoiners. They love people. They love seeing people doing a Bitcoin community project. So do not rush anything. We've got your back. As much as Bitcoin Ekasi, El Salvador's have got our backs, we also, here as Bitcoin Loxion, we've got your back as well.
Excellent. So last question for you, that is I ask everybody the last question. What Bitcoin means to you personally in few sentences?
For me, Bitcoin means brighter future. It means that people in power, they will actually know that not everything revolves around them. People should come first, and the hearts of the people should always be the first priority of everything.
Beautiful. Thulisa, thank you very much for sharing your story and so talking about your experience. And I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you in
Cape Town.
Yeah, in Cape Town. This is this January, and I wish you best of luck for everything that you are doing, because it's very important, your job and your contribution in that in your community in Africa and in whole world, because what we promoting is like it's changing people's life, and you have a big part of that work. So thank you very much again, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, Ivan. But before I go, I would like to say that, guys, I would like to warmly invite everyone that is coming to Adopting Bitcoin Cape Town to come and join us. There's going to be a road trip that is going to Bitcoin Loxion. And I would like to invite everyone who's actually interested in seeing what we've done so far. And just bring your gloves on, so that you're going to be able to pour some water in that garden that we are busy with. Thank you very much, Ivan, again for your time and for inviting me as well.